More from Megyn Kelly. Her new book, Settle for More, is out today. And we're going to talk to her after this quick look back at her rocky relationships with Donald Trump and her former boss, Roger Ailes.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals.
The feud began with that first question at the first debate.
What I say is what I say. And honestly, Megyn, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I've been very nice to you, although I could probably maybe not be based on the way you have treated me, but I wouldn't do that.
A torrent of insults followed. Trump called Kelly a bimbo, unprofessional, and crazy.
You could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever. I was referring to nose, ears. They're very common statements, and only a deviant would think of what people said.
He was so very focused on me that I became the story, and you never want to be the story when you're a news person. You want to be covering the story.
Now in her new book, Settle for More.
It's a very personal book. It's revealing. It's been under an embargo. Basically, they would have to hurt you if you found it.
The Kelly File anchor reveals that her encounter with President-elect Trump actually began 6 months before he announced his run. She claims he tried to charm her with offers of trips and personal notes, and that Trump offered other journalists gifts clearly meant to shape coverage.
I had a meeting with Donald Trump.
Kelly also found herself part of the story after former colleague Gretchen Carlson filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against Fox chairman Roger Ailes. After Carlson spoke out, Kelly told her bosses that at the start of her career, Ailes made unwanted advances against her, too. Shortly after, Ailes was fired from Fox. And Megyn Kelly is back right now. Thanks for coming back. And let's start right there. You made that call to Fox co-chairman Lachlan Murdoch. What did you tell him?
Well, I mean, listen, I wrestled with what to do because I wasn't sure what the truth was about Roger.
You knew what he did to you.
Exactly. And that's one of the bizarre things about the story is that I knew my own experience, but he and I had gone on to have 9 years of a healthy working relationship. And so in my mind, I had attributed it to he was interested in me. He was having a marital difficulty. Perhaps he was just interested in having an extramarital affair. And I didn't know.
And he was explicit about that?
As explicit as you could be. I mean, it was very on the nose. And then it culminated in a physical attempt to be with me, which I rejected in his office. And then I contacted a lawyer. He tried to kiss me 3 times. So I rejected that. And when I rejected that, he asked me when my contract was up. As soon as I left his office, I called a lawyer, and I did bring the matter to a supervisor at Fox News.
Years ago.
Years ago when it happened to me. And that person vouched for Roger's character, assured me that he was a good man, that he was likely just smitten, and that I should try to avoid him, which is what I did.
As you know, Roger Ailes put out a statement through his attorney. It states, quote, "I categorically deny the allegations Megyn Kelly makes about me. I worked tirelessly to promote and advance her career." As Megyn herself admitted to Charlie Rose, watch that interview and decide for yourself. I want to show, this is what he was referring to on Charlie Rose.
I really care about Roger, and he's been nothing but good to me, and he's been very loyal, and he's had my back.
So how do you square that with what you're writing now?
Well, both things can be true. I mean, a woman can be harassed and then go on to have a good working relationship with the man harassing her. And that is what happened in my case. I avoided Roger for 6 months after my supervisor suggested that was the proper course to pursue. And sure enough, he stopped. And I was down in the D.C. Bureau when this was happening to me. He was up in New York. This is all laid out in the book in great detail. But he stopped, and we went on to have a healthy working relationship. And what he said about promoting me and having my back over the next several years is true. And it was one of the reasons why even I found it hard to believe that he was a serial harasser, George, when the lawsuit broke and then women started coming forward anonymously. But it soon became clear to me upon reading the allegations that at least an investigation was necessary.
So did any part of you think, looking back, he should have come out earlier publicly?
Listen, it's hard to say no to that because I now know the number of women who were targeted, and it's disturbing. But realistically, and this is one of the reasons I wrote about this in the book, realistically, that would have been a suicide mission for me in my career because I'd been at the company for 12 months when he was doing this to me. I wasn't Megyn Kelly of today. I had no power. And he was on the cover of industry magazines as the most powerful man in news. There was no one to go to. You know, if I had gone to the general counsel of the company, it would have been me, first-year person, against the CEO of the company.
So it leads to a tough question for Fox News as well. If Gretchen Carlson hadn't sued, would Roger Ailes still be the chairman of Fox News?
I think so. I think so. I mean, because we all had arbitration clauses in our deals, which